Hey there! Welcome back to the Mothcast, a podcast about video games and how a couple of moths feel about them. The game for episode 37 is Cat Quest 2, a sequel to Cat Quest 1, which makes it another isometric dungeon crawling RPG full of cat puns, but now with dog puns. So get your cat or dog friend and let's get into the podcast. Alright, so the game this week is called Cat Quest 2.
Quest 2.
In continuation from last week's Cat Quest 1.
Cat Quest 1. Yes.
And perhaps Cat Quest 3 in the future. I don't know. We'll see.
Eventually, whenever it comes out. At the time of this recording, it has not come out.
Correct. So, Cat Quest 2. It is, like we said last week, a sort of, I don't know, you would say isometric dungeon crawler RPG, right?
Isometric RPG dungeon crawler.
Perfect way where, you play as a cat. Basically.
Actually, in this one, you play as a cat and a dog.
Yeah. There was co-op, and I very nearly was like, why don't we play co-op together? But no.
Nah.
It's too difficult to coordinate schedules.
Yeah.
So.
That, and I think it was fine without it.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll talk about how that actually works in the gameplay section, but suffice to say, the change they made to in like adding a second character, quote unquote, I think was really well done.
Yeah, like story wise.
Well, story wise, yes, but like gameplay wise, I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. We're gonna have to just like blitz through the first couple of points here because I don't think there's too much different from the first game.
I don't think they're well, at least the first one. The graphics are a little better, but the music didn't exactly change.
Yeah, it's really sad.
I mean, I get it because it's like basically a direct sequel.
Yeah, it is a direct sequel. I think it technically takes place in
it's
like the exact land.
Years. Yeah, the same land. The like a few years later than the first game.
Yeah,
it's like the first game you kind of do the thing, and then like it's like you release the guy, and then it's like, okay, well, what do I do with this guy? And he just leaves, and you're just like, well, this is kind of unfinished. And then in the next game, it's like he comes back, and it's like, yada yada. But yeah, so it's like I kind of makes sense that the music didn't really change because it's, but like
Yeah, no, I agree.
They could have changed it a tiny bit.
I think they like in the first game, I joked that there was like 3 tracks throughout the whole game. I think they technically upped it to 5, where but the thing is 3 of those tracks are the tracks from the first game. So like it's kind of like negative points for me because of lack of effort. Which is really unfortunate, but like they're okay tracks. Like I'm not gonna hate on these songs.
As we said in the last one, I believe it was just like they're just kind of like there to fill the silence.
I mean, it's like ambient music. It's not like
basically.
It's not like
basic overworld music.
Yeah,
it's like not really.
It would have been
nice forever.
Well, especially in this game, there are distinct characters. Like there are, for instance, you've got Kit Kat, who returns from the first game. You've got Hotto Doggo, who is new. You've got all of the dog characters. You've got all of the new cat characters. Why would you drop this opportunity to make like, well, not necessarily like new music, but like make themes for them?
Yeah.
So like every time Kit Kat pops up, make a Kit Kat theme for her. Every time you walk into Hotto Doggo's little spot, make a little doggo theme for him. Like, every time the villain pops up or you have to fight, because you fight the villain quite a few times in this game.
Several times, yeah.
Every time
in the first one too, but yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. This time it's a little bit different. Because it's like, I don't know, the first game they're like, oh, they're projections, or like that wasn't my true power. Whereas this game, it's like, oh, you literally can't hurt that guy. Run away.
Yep.
Yeah, so like if they had actually taken the opportunity to make themes for each character, I think that would have gone like quite a long way to making the game feel more varied in terms of audio and like music. Because like I don't know, we don't really talk about music a lot. We talked about it in a few games such as like Undertale and a few of the other ones where we like remarked
Where,
about how bad the music was.
yeah,
um
where like some games where the music actually meant something.
yeah, but like it's very important to it, like I guess it's very similar to video. I guess I don't know why I would try and make a different distinction. It's super close to video, where like if you're making a movie or a TV show, you want to change up the angles that the audience is watching things from,
Mm.
um, so that the audience doesn't get like bored. But it's more like you change things up so that the audience doesn't get tired, right? And so it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
different, it's the same thing with audio and games, where like if they're listening to the same thing on repeat forever, over and over and over,
yeah.
unless you're playing
Like if you,
Balatro.
mm, that's chill music to study and chill to. Um,
Exactly.
but like yeah, it's like if you play like a really like low chill track while you're like in a big battle or something, it's not really gonna work too well.
Yeah.
You want like fast exciting music
Well, and
to yeah.
just the other thing, not necessarily, yeah, that you're absolutely correct. But what I'm also saying is like if you fight the first boss in the game, right? Like let's say
Mm,
it's like, oh man, it's the same music that you're listening to fighting that guy as it is the epic end boss at the end of the game.
yeah, it's the
And
same battle music.
that's what kind of makes it like, this is a missed
Yeah.
opportunity. So yeah. I don't know if there's much else to talk about. I think it's a missed opportunity. It's minus points for this for me, honestly.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that would happen in the first game too, but oh well.
yeah. I mean, the first game, I feel like the first game can get away with it because it's like it's a smaller team. It's a lot more quaint.
Yeah, it was their first game, I think.
It's a much smaller game. This game is huge.
It's much bigger,
Like
yeah.
we can talk about that now. Like the map in this game is
Well,
gigantic.
it
Like,
is because it introduces the dog kingdom.
yeah,
So it's like you have the whole cat kingdom you had in the first game
I
and
believe
then the dog
the
kingdom.
Lupus Kingdom or the
Lupus, yes.
Lupin, yeah, which I believe is either dog or wolf in Latin.
Yeah, something.
Um, which is fine because dogs and wolves are related.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah, so you got the whole kingdom, and then like they also do a lot more like little islands that are just out there, right?
just islands and then also I think there was like way more dungeons too.
Yeah, there was a lot of dungeons. I want to say, if I'm remembering correctly, it actually gives you a number that you complete out of how many,
Mm,
which is like 127 total.
okay.
Um, yeah, that's a lot. I don't know how many there
It's
was
a
in the
few.
first game, but that's
I
127.
don't
That's
know
quite a
either,
few.
but still it's a bunch. I mean, of
Not to
course, a
mention,
few of them are required for the story, etc. But
yeah, there's
whatever.
another. I think it's quests. There's another number up there at the
Oh yeah, yeah, quests.
top there for a number of quests, and I don't remember how many there were. I barely did any side
Oh,
quests this game. I did a few, and they
same.
were like pretty. They're pretty dumb. I don't know. They didn't really do anything. It's
I don't know.
like,
There was one where I did and I played rock paper scissors with a guy
and he lost,
and he
right?
lost.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
super hard.
I like I did it 3 times and I got it right each time and then I'm like, wait a minute, this is
Yeah,
guaranteed, isn't it?
yeah,
I'm
it
like,
is.
dang.
Unfortunately, sorry, we're not as smart as the game is making us think we are.
I mean, I just chose rock every time
Oh,
and I'm like,
really?
oh, is it really rock every time?
I
And
was
it's
like
just like
scissors,
I'm
paper,
pretty sure it
haha.
was like it probably is just like whichever one you choose, it doesn't matter, you're gonna win.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I
Um,
just chose rock every time because it's funny. Rock always wins.
yeah. Rock
Um,
beats paper and scissors. If you throw it hard enough.
it's true. But yeah,
So like the graphics in general on the whole are not like too much different. I would say
no,
that the only difference is like the lines get a lot sharper, or like I guess more detailed.
yeah, it feels like they tuned it up a little,
Yeah.
which is great, which is fine.
Yeah, I
it's good.
mean, give it a fresh coat of paint. The game came out what, like a couple years later.
Yeah,
Um I can search that.
but yeah, it was like the graphics are a little better. Some of the sprites changed a little, like Kit Kat, and just all of them really. Hado Doggo, of course,
Oh,
is a new one, but
so Cat Quest 1 came out in 2017. Cat Quest
okay,
2 came out in 2019.
mm,
So
so
only a
2 years later.
2-year development time, which, that's not bad. I suppose like a lot of the work was probably done already. They probably
Yeah, they
set up,
probably just go ahead.
yeah, cuz like the overworld is like basically the same. Um
Mhm. So they
there might
probably just,
be,
like,
yeah, go ahead.
pulled it out, pulled the, like, section of code and just, like, transferred it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever engine that they use for this is probably like Unity or something. Um, that you just like you have all the same assets, so you just basically like make new file, copy the same assets, and then make new map. Like that's that it's basically that. I don't know why you know like it probably cut down on development time that way so that they could put more time into like a story, and also
Yeah.
uh differences in how like the gear works, how
Mhm.
changes in enemies. Not too many changes in enemies. There are still some returning enemies, but
Yeah. Some of which they made worse, but that's
yeah, very
besides the point.
strange decisions there, but
Like
it's okay.
lightning goats, I don't think they attack you in the first game, they just did the lightning, but
They do
did
attack you in
they?
the first game, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't notice. I don't
um
know, but still, yeah.
it's okay. It's not too big of a deal. It's
No,
like
it's not.
the enemies are not like, I don't know, it's there are a lot more of them. They're much more visually distinct instead of like five enemies and then like making them harder as things go. Like that happens, but like
Yeah, but
in this game, if you see a ram or a skeleton, you know that those are probably going to be weaker than like a skeleton mage or a skeleton king, and
yeah.
like a slime, you know,
Or
or like
even
a wyvern.
the big guys, the
Right.
big enemies.
Exactly. And so it's like they actually made a lot of the enemies just by like existing stronger, which is
Mhm.
nice. I like instead of just being like, oh, that's just a level 99 goat, good luck fighting him. It's like, oh, okay, thanks game, I guess, like whatever, dude.
Yeah.
But um yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to the graphics. I think that the like character designs in like some of the main characters, I like they are pretty cool. I think that
Yeah.
even though the like characterization of Hadodago is just the most annoying, I think his
Really?
design is cool.
You don't like Hado Doggo?
No, I don't. His joke got old really really fast.
You don't like that he constantly talks about hot dogs?
Well, you can talk about hot dog. Well, okay, first of all, like I understand you're talking about hot dogs because his name is Hadodago,
Hado Doggo,
but
yeah.
like, dude, after a while, you're just making dick jokes. You know, like that's what you're doing.
Oh, come on,
Without
you put wasabi on your dick?
like if you make the same wasabi on hot dog joke like 14 times, I might start thinking about that you might. I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
It's fine, it's
dude,
fine.
the number of times where he's like, dude, this puts the ketchup on the hot dog. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Why are you saying this? This is the 18th time you said this. Why? What?
It's just don't worry about it, it's
I,
fine. He's a dog that likes hot dogs. Don't worry.
Yeah, I feel like that's
I mean,
most of them.
what dog doesn't exactly? Let him have his ketchup and wasabi on the hot dog.
Anyway, uh, yeah, um, yeah,
Yeah.
weird character, but he was a choice that they made. I'm not gonna fault them for that choice. I just it's a choice I didn't really care for because
I don't
it
know.
got really
I mean,
old really fast.
as a game that just like constantly makes jokes and puns and references like that. I mean, maybe not constantly, but like there's a lot. Then yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, what are you gonna do?
That's what that's what you're getting when you go into a game like this. I guess it's all
Yeah.
cat and dog puns. I
Oh,
just oh man, like dude,
like
there's so many
absolutely.
things.
Like, I'm pretty sure like 70% of the dialogue is
Is
like
puns, at
puns.
least.
Maybe 80%. I don't know, but like they were all like impossible, you know, or just some words that weren't even like that couldn't even like fit the word like the cat pun into it, but they still just replaced the word with a
It
with that
definitely
word.
didn't fit, but they made it fit because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of funny. I mean, that's what made it funny, I guess, to me anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, that word's not supposed to go there, but whatever, I guess.
Oh, um. So, I guess I want to talk about like the design of the other characters, like the bosses in the game, which
Mhm.
I want to say that there are only like what? There's the dragon, there's the old master, there's
Yeah, I mean,
uh
you get to technically you fight Kit Kat and Haradogo
in
at one point.
oh yeah, I guess that's true cuz you have to like prove yourself or
Yeah, you have
whatever.
to. Yeah,
Um yeah, that's true. So there's like you fight those two, they're pretty easy. I don't know if you had any
I don't know.
problems.
They
I
both
didn't
had
have any
hammers,
problems.
so they were slow.
Uh, then there was the dragon that like everyone was like, "Oh my god, a dragon!"
Yeah, I thought they'd
Even
all
though
died in the Dragon War or the
yeah,
Dracoth incident.
which they didn't, I guess. Even though like even in that game, it was like, "Oh my god, this bush is actually a dragon." So like there could still be bushes or hanging around that are
Well,
dragons. You know, like
there absolutely are bushes that are hanging around. I don't know if they're
dude.
dragons or not, but they fuck you up.
Yeah, what like was that a right? I was gonna ask you about that. I didn't know if I was crazy. I ran into a bush once, and I took like 2/3 of my
Like,
health and damage. I was like, what the
yeah,
hell was that?
no, um they're I think they're intended because there is an NPC right outside the desert that's like, "Oh my god, there's invisible enemies in this desert." And I'm just like, "Okay." So,
Oh,
and then I walk
all
up and a
right.
bush starts shooting at me.
What the
Like, "Okay,
hell?
I'll just kill this bush." And then I hit it and it's level 99. I'm like, "Okay, I'll run from this
Okay,
bush."
bye.
So yeah, I
so
mean, that's that.
honestly, yeah, that might be a
Just
reference to the first game.
just don't stick around in the desert.
Um,
I mean,
yeah, and so yeah, then you have to fight the like antagonists of the game multiple times, like we said before.
yeah,
They
they kind
are
of just like chase
unhurtable
you. You bonk them and they do no damage.
until later when the game decides that you're strong enough.
Yeah,
And then there's the final boss. However, I don't know if you're looking at the wiki right now, but did you know that there are 3 optional bosses?
really?
Yeah. There's something called the Mother of Cacti, which is a giant cactus with big lips,
Hmm.
which is, and okay.
Yeah,
Cthulhu, who I actually did run into. Um, yeah, you don't fight it,
I
you die if you're not
I
like
didn't.
actually leveled up. He's pretty strong. Um,
Yeah,
and then the other boss is Lonely Hedgehog, which appears to be a regular hedgehog, except it casts like a bunch of insane spells constantly.
huh.
So,
Affiliation
and it
evil.
has like 300,000 health. And it's level 200, which is great.
Oh yeah, smart. How do you kill it?
You just hit it. I mean, like it'll die eventually. Maybe. Um, yeah, I did not, I never ever saw Mother of Cacti. Um, I guess
Neither did I.
she's
I didn't see any of
guarding.
them.
I guess she's guarding
Why does she
the.
look like that?
Why does she look like that? I don't know. Cause the developers are weirdos. I
Yeah,
don't know.
like
Why'd you look her up and she looks like really strange?
no, yeah, it's like I'm looking at the wiki now, and it's like her. She got the big lips, and they're like she's like drooling out of them
Yeah, I
too.
don't know.
Like
It's
what the fuck?
it's very weird.
It's fine. Don't the
Yeah,
developers.
don't think about it too much.
It's don't worry about it. It's fine.
I guess she's guarding the last spell that I didn't get because I knew
I
that there
didn't.
was one more spell, but I didn't get it. I was like,
Oh, I
oh,
didn't.
okay.
I didn't get a lot of the spells.
Um, yeah, she's guarding Celeste. Ha 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 ha.
Uh-huh. What does it do?
Which it says the spell marks a circular area under the character. After 5.5 seconds, the area activates, dealing royal damage based on your magic stat to enemies that stand within it for 4.5 seconds.
Oh, is that the
So
ball explosion
probably,
that explodes in like a circle?
probably. Um,
There's no
let's
picture of it, of
look
course.
at the spells because there's also a thing called Astropol and Graviruff that I didn't get.
I didn't get those either.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really use a lot of spells, and by that I mean I used like 2 spells, but like not really any of the other ones.
I don't know. A lot of them. A lot of enemies are like you kind of need to use spells or else they just don't die.
Well, yeah, I mean we'll talk about that when it comes to gameplay, but like I didn't use the majority of them. I set like a couple on one character and then like 2 on the character that I played the most, and I just
Yeah.
like used them whenever I felt like it.
Yep.
So like I didn't really go looking for the
Um, I didn't either. I just
extra spells.
spammed them whenever I could, as I did in the first game.
Yeah,
The
makes sense.
damage. Um,
But anyway, yeah, I
speaking
guess
of,
we may as well talk about gameplay now that I'm thinking about it. I don't really have anything
yeah,
else to say when it comes to graphics. The
no, I was just
bosses
going
that
to
are
mention we're speaking of spells, and they actually improved heal paw. It's actually
yeah,
good.
they did. They heal well, they improved pretty much all the spells to actually like scale properly
Yeah,
instead of like scaling like trash. uh
yeah,
which is nice. It really is nice because it actually makes using spells primarily as a like real thing that you can do.
Ye-
On top of the fact that they made range weapons.
yeah. They made the staffs.
Yeah, they made stabs, which means that if you wanted to play a caster character, you could use stabs and like stay away from the enemy instead of like trying to walk up and bonk them.
Yeah,
Um
and then in which case some of them are they attack fast and do a fuckload of damage.
yeah, and if you get hit, you just explode because all of the caster gear that increases your magic damage, it has
Half
like
your health.
no health or it
Yeah.
removes health or whatever.
When you
Like
when you equip a staff, it takes away 50% of your health,
oh yeah,
like
that
max
too.
health.
Nice. So
And
yeah,
I believe that's like the only thing because they figure, I guess, since it's a ranged weapon, you're not gonna
you're not
be up
gonna
close.
get too close, which is
It's a
acceptable.
balance, it's fair.
I think there was like the armor in this game is a little bit too strong, probably. If I had to judge, because it's like it's the same
Yeah.
thing as the last game where you use armor and it gives you a shield that's basically health, but it regenerates. So if you don't take damage for a certain amount of time, it will regenerate. But
Mhm.
this game it like regenerates super fast, and you can
Yeah,
do it while you're in combat, which is
it's
nice.
weird. I didn't use any armor on my main character I was using. I put all the armor on the second character.
I mean, as awkward as like it's actually funny, because you don't need to. You don't need to at all. Like,
Yeah.
uh, So let's talk about the second character. In this game, you play as the dog and the cat of legend. Wow. We'll talk about that in the
Yeah,
story,
the
why you do that. But suffice to say, you play as dog and cat. And so you play as your whichever character you want at any time. You can switch between
yeah, you
them
can
at
switch.
will. Um, and then like you have to equip them with gear that you find. Each
Separately.
one. Yeah, separately. Which means that like if you want to, you can equip one with like attacking like melee stuff and then your main character with caster stuff or vice versa. Which I don't
Yeah.
know what you did. Did you melee like a lot or did you range?
I'm I meleeed a lot. I mean, I switched it up sometimes when it required it, but I meleeed with the main, and then uh, I equipped the second with like a mage, sort of.
Yeah, so you did the opposite of what I did. I used magic and the range, the staff attacks the majority of the game. Like
Hmm.
the vast majority, like whenever I found my first staff, I was just like instantly like, "Oh, yep, I'm using this." You know? Um
Okay.
and then I equipped the secondary character, which was I actually played as the dog, and my secondary character was the cat because I was like, "Ha, screw you, cat." Um,
I was the opposite. I played the cat most of the time, and the secondary was the dog.
yeah, there you go. Well, but you still
Okay.
you still made the dog the caster,
Yeah.
and I made the dog the caster, and yeah, so we
Yeah.
basically were playing co-op, but not with each other.
Yeah. It's also
um,
funny because it's the main boss, or like the main antagonists, Wolfen and Lioner. Um, Lioner, which is the cat, uh, was the melee, and Wolfen was the dog and also the
yeah,
caster.
I was like, wow, that's an accident. I did that not on
Yeah,
purpose at all.
same.
But happy accident. It's funny that we
Yeah,
both
it's
fell into
funny.
that, but whatever. Uh, yeah. So the thing is that whoever the computer is controlling, because it's an AI,
Mhm.
they do okay. But the thing is, they never get hit. They're
Yeah,
functionally
they don't take
immortal,
damage.
right?
Mhm.
The only thing with that is obviously they had to make it so that like basically the AI wasn't like running out there and just like instantly killing themselves. But
Yeah,
they also needed to make that balanced by making it so that they don't deal like the maximum amount of damage.
yeah,
Um,
makes a lot of sense.
but like I don't know about you.
Did you just make the second character just fight everything?
I no, I did a lot of the work. But the thing is I gave my cat all of the gear that like lowered the health and magic and increased the damage. So like anytime it was actually and then like a slow weapon. So anytime it was like actually hitting things, because it doesn't attack very often, but like it attacks the same like the same frequency with a fast weapon versus a slow weapon. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so just make it hit as hard as possible when it hits, right? Because it's gonna
Yeah,
dodge out of the way. I don't have to worry about it living. Um, and I'm gonna stay out of trouble because I'm doing things from a range. Um, so I just did that, and then like on the few fights where I needed melee damage, I just like ice spell, heal spell,
yeah,
ice
because
spell.
the second doesn't actually attack unless you attack something.
Right, which I was gonna say is the other balancing effect where unless you like you can't let the AI do all the work. It won't let you.
Yeah, no,
You
it'll
have to
stop after
participate.
a while. But I mean, you
Um
can technically just shoot every few minutes, or once, and then let it attack a few times, and then shoot again, and then
yeah, I mean you
rinse and
could do
repeat.
that.
But what's the fun in that? It
Yeah, I
sounds
mean just
boring.
play the game. Like I don't understand what's the issue. Um the thing that I want to point out in this game as well is that it doesn't have the same like gear like it has a similar gear obtaining way, as the first
Yeah.
game, where like you go into the dungeon and you open the chest and it has an item in it and it could be a random item and that item could level up what you have equipped, yada yada
Mhm.
yada yada. But like if you like a piece of gear, you can go
You can
to
just go to either KitKat or Hotodoggo,
yeah and
which
talk to them.
KitKat does armor and Hotodoggo does weapons, and
Right.
you can just
And
talk to them and you just give them money to
you
level up your
yeah,
gear.
exactly. You don't have to like open a chest
You don't have
and
to
hope.
open a chest and hope it's the one you want,
Right.
and if it is the one you want, you'll only level it up by 1,
Right.
and this is
It's
fantastic.
nice. You can
That's kinda
like spend all of the vast riches that you acquire in this game because you acquire a lot of money.
you
Uh,
too
even
acquire a
though
fair bit.
like just by completing either a quest or like a dungeon, because the dungeons are just like littered with money. Every time an enemy dies, it drops money. There are boxes in the dungeons that drop money. There are boxes in the
Money.
overworld that drop money. You finish a side quest, it drops money. There's money just in the overworld everywhere. Like there's money. There's so much money in this game. It's insane how much money. There was one point where I upgraded my weapons by a bunch because I
Mhm.
got like a unique weapon from somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, so I'll level that up a bunch. I spent like 12,000, which is a pretty good amount. It was like
Wow.
20 levels. And then I like did a couple stuff and like it was like less than an hour later and I had like almost 20,000 after spending all of my money. I was like, what? Where did this come from, dude? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't think I got that much, but
I think I think that this system is like vastly improved.
it was much better than the first game.
Like if this game continues into the third game, I'll be very happy. If they improve upon this again somehow, I'll be even happier.
Even happier, yeah,
Yeah, cuz
agreed.
like it's really nice. Like you can find a piece of gear that you like or that works for you.
And just
Like
pump the money into it.
for instance, I used two pieces of gear that gave like passive fire damage. And then
Mhm.
I used one piece of gear that gave a bunch of armor for my main character. So if they got hit, it would all be in armor damage and then it would
Yeah.
regenerate. Which, I did that for like the whole game basically. Um except like towards the end once you get some golden golden chest gear, there are some ones that give magic and armor, which is like really nice.
Definitely not me who,
Skip the golden chests again.
let's skip the golden chest again.
Unbelievable.
Um, don't worry about it. It's fine.
Unbelievable. It's fine. You basically had to do the same thing as last game where you go to like the developer island. They put in a bunch of like snarky stuff talking to you about how like they're actually gods. No, really, believe us. And then you like have to go fight chests, and if they hit you, you die in one hit.
Yeah.
Um, they
Didn't
made
do
a
that.
joke. They made a joke on that island where about how like we increased the number of tracks in the game to 5 and then they play them and it's like, "Oh."
Oh, great, thanks.
I I don't know. It's funny cuz it's like, "Oh, you acknowledge that like this is your shortcoming." I guess that's like that makes
You
it
know,
fine.
yeah, I guess I guess so. Like, we're like, "Yeah, we didn't put enough effort into the music, so
Yeah, whatever, I
just don't
guess.
worry about it.
Cool.
It's
Thanks for that.
fine. I'm sorry, but oh well."
And they're like, whatever, continue on. Um, yeah. So the gold chests were like it's because they come with like a bunch of different stuff. The only thing that I didn't like about the gear in this game was that like you whenever you get a staff, it has an attack, and that attack might be
Yeah.
trash, but like that staff might be way better than every other staff stat wise, but its attack is just
Yeah.
absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage.
Well, because it depends on um, what flavor staff you get.
Yeah,
Because
like
there's, lightning, there's ice, there's the heal paw one,
yeah,
there's
there's the
the
yeah,
fire.
arcane. I think
Yeah,
the
and it's, like, based on whatever, like, magic you want to deal, you wanna put on that kinda gear. Like, if you have a fire spell, you wanna use the fire staff and just spam the fire spell because it gives, like, +5 or 15% fire damage,
yeah.
and
Um,
I believe that includes your spell.
well, and like let's say you use the fire staff, right? It gives you that 15% fire damage passive, but its attack is also a fire damage
Fire
spell.
damage spell, like, attack, so
Right.
it counts.
Right. And so it's pretty neat. I think this is a really like a perfect way to make somebody happy who wants to use only spells, cuz like if you wanted to use spells in the last game, it was just like only spells using spell weapons, spell armor, spell hats. It was a nightmare. You couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there was ways, there was, like, gear, like, there was armor that you could wear that had magic on it, but it wasn't much.
Yeah. Um yeah, so I really enjoyed that, but I think that like in the future if it was possible, make it so that you could like customize what attack the staff has, cuz like if unless you're just going to make like all of the early stabs like trash and then all of the late stabs like really good, like
I would
that's
assume so.
fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
don't
It
know
doesn't
either.
really matter.
I mean, I would assume you just upgrade them, just level them up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Um, but yeah, anyway,
Um
it was much better, like, weapon and armor system than
Now the question, so you do you remember exactly all of the like royal arts that we learned through the game?
I'm pretty sure it was only a few.
I think there was 3
There
cuz
is
there's
water
obviously
walking,
water walking, yeah.
there's, like, power roll,
Oh yeah, that's right. Power roll where you
and
roll through somebody and it deals
it does
damage.
damage, yeah, and then, what was the 3rd
It
one?
was the uh
Oh,
it
the,
was the
like,
roll
power
attack.
attack, the roll
Yeah.
attack, yeah. Which, I mean, I used a bunch.
Yeah, I absolutely did. It it made things very easy.
Well, cause
Uh
yeah, 'cause, like, you roll away from an attack, and then you just attack them back. Like, homes in. Yeah. It, like, targets whatever enemy you were attacking.
Yeah.
So,
I think
it
the
was like
last
a jump.
one that didn't get used at all that probably would be used if you played like New Game Plus was Full Royal, which gives you all of the previous ones and critical hits now summon a Royal Blast.
Oh, yeah, no, I did get the critical hits summon a Royal Blast, but you get
Yeah.
that at, like, the very end
Yeah,
of the
it's the
game.
very end. But the thing is that like as somebody who is using spells, I never crit.
Yeah.
Uh so it never happened to me, but like
Oh, well.
yeah, whatever. It's not a huge deal. I have a feeling that it's really, really strong for like melee people who use gear that gives a bunch of crit rate because that
Like,
exists. It certainly
ninja.
does. Yeah.
The ninja gear. Yeah, it was alright. I didn't notice it happening. I don't know if it had any special thing, but I don't know, I just hit things,
Yeah. Pretty much just hit
and it
stuff.
worked.
Um, this is completely different from these like sort of skills are pretty different from the first game where you get water walking very early. In this game,
Yeah,
water walking is like the end game ability that allows you to go traverse the map. Um,
yeah,
there is no flying in this game, whereas in the first game, flying is the end game.
yeah,
Um, which is whatever, that's fine. It's not a huge deal because you run like a lot faster in this game.
true.
Uh, and then like the additional attacks from power rolling, which I mean, power rolling doesn't really matter to me. I didn't use it that much.
No,
Rolled away from people personally. But the power smash is a welcome addition, I think.
yeah, that one
Um,
was good.
I don't think was there any other arts in the like abilities in the first game because I'm just thinking of like the only ones that were notable to me were
Well,
flying and water
the
walking, and
water
it's like
walking. Yeah, I don't think so.
that's it. That's the end of the
I
game.
think it was just that was it.
Yeah. Um, I would like. to basically turn it into like a proper like Metroidvania style where like you can only get certain places via water walking, and then you can only get certain places via other skill and other skill and other skill. Like
I
I
mean,
would
it
like
kind of
that.
that kind
Um,
of how they did it in the first game. Is like you can't really you can water walk everywhere, but then they block something off with where you have to fly over it.
right.
So it was like kind of like that. But in this game, it's like, oh, once you unlock water walking, you can just
Yeah, you go
go
everywhere.
anywhere.
Yeah, but it was like, oh, you finished, you got water walking. All right, yeah, the game end of the game is very near. Good luck. So
Yeah, but I feel like they do that. I feel like they do that for a lot of RPGs, where it's like mid game you have access to like just the whole map. It's fine.
I mean,
Like the one thing that's coming to mind is Tales of Symphonia. That's a long
oh
game, but
yeah, that's
like
true.
the mid game, once you get the the like reards fixed,
Yeah,
the
no,
whole
you're
world's
right.
open to you,
Pretty
and
much.
it's like that's like semi mid. That's like mid-ish end.
Yeah.
The whole world's open to you. It's fine.
Well, and like I don't know. I haven't played RPGs in such a long time. Like those kind of RPGs where
Yeah.
like they're so long, they're meant to be long. Um, I don't like this game. Obviously, wasn't intended to be like that, but I like the idea of like, man, just cram a bunch of shit into your world and like make it inaccessible unless the person wants to access it. And like
Yeah.
the they will want to. Um, and
Yep.
then you just go from there. Keep making extra movement abilities that you can access more and more things.
Mhm.
Like obviously we played this with a time constraint and um
Didn't really do everything.
didn't really do everything, but like I'm not necessarily also I'm not really a 100% game every game type person. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you are, maybe with games
Yeah.
that you like really enjoy. Um,
Yeah.
but like if I have a game that's huge that I just want to like get through it and get through to the end or like get through the story and find out what happens, like I'm not gonna really care. But there are definitely people out there, like my wife, who will be like 127 dungeons. Oh
Better
man,
do them all.
I gotta do them all before we finish the game. It's like,
And
honey,
and find every chest in them. Because then once you get all the chests in the dungeon, it'll say, "Oh, dungeon complete." It's like,
dungeon
oh, okay.
complete. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, obviously, there are like hidden routes in each dungeon. It's like, oh, you didn't
Mhm.
complete it. He. You got to go find the like walking space that's invisible. Ha 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 ha. It's like, all right, let's just chill, okay?
Yeah.
Let's both relax. I'm gonna go kill the end boss, and then I'll go play another game. Like,
Yeah.
um, got anything else worth mentioning for gameplay before we leap into the story?
Um. Oh, one thing I want to mention, because there was two like players essentially.
Mhm.
Uh, one of them, if you one of them like dies,
Oh yeah,
it'll auto switch to the other, and you can like stand within a certain distance from the dead one and revive it.
yeah.
And that was like an essential mechanic to how I played sometimes
I mean,
for some bosses.
like
Where it's like
only when I got one shot.
it was like
Um,
a it was it was like a um like a savior, I guess, like a
yeah,
Horcrux.
it's very
It was
forgiving.
like I'm gonna try not to die, obviously, but if I do, it'll switch to my dog, and I can res my main.
Well, like
It'll be fine.
for instance, my thing was like if I do die on my mage, I my my cat has no health, no
Yeah,
armor. I have to play so conservatively just
yeah,
to
yeah.
revive myself so
It's
that
like
the
you
AI can take back over. Like,
yeah, pretty much. It's like there's not a whole lot on this other character, but I can
I'll
res
make
myself.
it work.
Just like don't even attack with him. Just focus on dodging and lead the enemies away, so you have enough time to get back over there and res
Yeah,
your
because you just have to
main. Like
stand in the
okay,
circle for like so much time. Like
Yeah,
obviously it decays, but as long as you stand in the circle, it's no big deal.
yeah, and it takes like a few seconds. But yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that before we moved on.
Oh, I guess there is one thing to say about like because you are two characters, you also get different spells. But like I don't know, it's not really too much to
Yeah,
say.
it
Um,
is.
the only thing I was gonna say
Both
was
characters don't have the same spells. You have to
right.
equip them.
You can. I kind of fudged it a little bit by giving certain like the AI character like basically two spells. They got the whirlwind and they got the um make like everyone's attack damage more
Hmm,
basically. And
I didn't get that
then
one. I
hmm?
got the whirlwind. I didn't get the attack damage one. I got the whirlwind one.
Oh, okay. Well, basically if you have a melee AI character, you give them those
Use
two,
the whirlwind,
they
yeah.
will just spam them because they're programmed to use spells a lot.
Hmm.
And whirlwind does not magic damage but physical damage.
Yeah.
And so like I gave them so much physical damage that they were just like every time they turned that on, everything died in the
Yeah, I was
radius.
gonna say they just slaughtered everything. Yep.
So yeah.
And to win.
And then like I just used heal and I used ice and I used fire and that was it. I didn't really use anything
What
else.
was weird? I put the heal on the second,
Um
which in hindsight, kind of sucked because it was like they put the heal on and then they would, because I would need the heal, and then they would continue fighting the enemy, and I'm like, no, get back here! I need you to heal.
yeah,
I need to stand
cuz
near you, and I'm like,
it's
I don't
only
want to
in like an
also
AoE
be near.
around you.
Yeah, and I don't want to also be near the enemy that's currently attacking. So it's like, yeah, in
Yeah,
hindsight, that was probably a dumb idea.
I also did that at first, and then the first time I saw that that was how you healed, I was like, nope, that's mine now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna heal myself. You don't need to be healed. Go away from me.
but otherwise, I put fire and lightning on myself and the ice that the dog starts with,
Yeah,
uh,
very nice of
and
them to give
the
us ice to
whirlwind,
start with.
the heal and the whirlwind
But
to on them.
yeah. So all
Yeah.
right, let's jump into
Anyway,
the story. I don't think it'll be too long because there's like only a little bit to talk about, but
yeah.
I'll let you take it away.
So the game starts a little differently, I guess, to the first one, but not really. You kind of just like wake up and on this like island, and you have your little like spirit cat
Yeah.
thingy called Kiri.
Ugh.
It's like a little crown. Well, you don't like Kiri?
Eh. He's
I like
okay.
Kiri. I like Kiri better than I liked Spiri.
I mean, only because spoiler. Kiri doesn't like betray you in the end.
No, not as much as Spiri did. I mean, it's kind of no, actually, not at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. But anyway, you wake up, you wait, and you're like, okay, what am I doing here? And then you find out that you're the like old kings reborn.
Yep.
The kings of the like first kings of the area, the kingdoms.
Yeah, you're the kings
reborn.
of the lands.
Yeah.
Reborn, like the kings of old of the land, I guess is
Yeah,
a better way of putting it.
the first ones. And then you're like, okay, so Kiri tells you, oh, you need to go stop the current kings that are not doing things right, and they're not cool guys.
They're like tyrants, and you're like, oh no, not
Oh no,
tyrants.
we better get rid of them. And then you try to, and you go around doing all this, trying to get, all your goodies and etc.
Yeah.
Fighting them, they fight back. You don't do any damage to them. You run.
You go, oh no,
Cetera,
we have to
cetera.
find better weapons.
And then, a few things happen. And I believe you.
Not a whole lot happens in the beginning.
No, it's not a whole lot. You meet Kit Kat, then eventually you go to the dog empire, and you meet Hato Doggo.
Yeah.
And he's like, I guess I should mention you are trying to find the King's Blade.
Yeah, I was about to interject,
which had
I
been
suppose.
broken into shards.
Well, because the inciting incident for that is like you're told, oh, they're like tyrants, right? And you're like, oh, how bad could it be? And then like you have to fight one of them with their gestures, and it's like, oh no, my spells and weapons literally don't do damage. And so
Yeah.
you have to like your little spirit companions like, oh, let's go talk to the blacksmith. They'll surely be able to help you. And you find out it's Kit Kat, and then you go, like, hey, we need weapons to fight this asshole. And she's like, why don't you reforge the King's Blade? And you're like,
Yeah.
we can just do that. And she's like, sure, I was the one who made it the first time. Why don't I just remake it for you? And so
Yeah.
she sends you off on the quest to like gather up
Find the shards.
the shards.
Yeah, because like I think what happens is the King's Blade is like the reason why these two empires were split, because there was like a war or something between the two.
Yeah, I think you
Because,
find
like,
out that it's
because
a war.
the King's Blade was like of immense power or something.
Yeah, so you
And it was
you
like
don't actually
only
find
one
that
of
out
them could have it.
immediately.
Yeah, only
it's-
one of them could have it, so it was like they decided to break it into pieces so it wouldn't be used for evil,
Right.
etc.
Which is, I mean, I don't mind that storyline. It's a good storyline because
No,
it's like, hey, like instead of being irresponsible with this, why don't we just
Get
like
rid of it.
remove it from the equation so that we can just be equals.
And
But
then
obviously,
they still weren't equals.
what's that?
And I said, and they still weren't equals
And they
because
still weren't
they never
equals. Yeah,
they hated each other after.
yeah. Like there was
Dogs
too
and
much
cats
bad
don't
blood.
like each other.
And that's evidence throughout the like any of the people that you talk to in either of the factions where they're like, oh my god, there's a dog with you if they're a cat, and then you go to
Yeah.
the dog area and it's like, oh my god, there's a cat with you, and it's like,
Just chill, bro.
all right, well, we're best friends, so I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Yeah.
like we're
That's my back.
pals. So I guess you
for-
could say that there's a bit of a message of similar to something like, I don't know, like West Side Story, or maybe general like don't be racist to people you don't like look exactly like.
Don't be a dickhead.
If they're of a different like entire like if you're a dog and they're a cat, don't hate them just because of those facts.
Yeah, just don't be a dickhead.
Yeah.
Simple.
West Side Story. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, so a lot of stuff happens. You go after the shards, you find them, eventually they get taken from you because guy's too big, too powerful. And then I think eventually
how many were there? Was it 3 or 4?
3.
Yeah, because I think you get 2, and then the liner beats you to the third one.
Yeah, and then it's the doggo Lupus.
Is it Wolfen or whatever his name is?
Wolfen, yeah. Wolfer.
Subwoofer.
Something. I don't know. I think it's Wolfen. I see it here.
Yeah, so
he finds it and he like then traps you and takes the other 2 and takes them to the big boss himself, Alias, which is the person you released in the first game.
Yeah.
From the Zero Dimension.
The Zero Dimension.
So it's like, okay. And then you get stuck on an island, you get because they take the shards, they took your royal abilities
arts
too.
Yeah. So
and
you
then
can
you're
no
like
longer walk.
So you gotta go onto the island.
Oh man.
In the various places, and you regain your royal arts.
I'm gonna be honest, I like that part was really annoying to me, only because it removed the like roll attack for such a long period, and I was just spamming that thing, man.
The roll attack was on like the 3rd cave, and it was like
I was like, come on, dude. Why would you do this to me? Just get rid of my water walking. Like, I don't need that. Let me have my attack.
Yeah. But anyway, that happens, and then you go back, and then I think you like I think that's when you get the critical hit one, and then you're like, oh yes, we're fully powered up.
Yeah,
we can go fight
I'm all charged up, man.
We can go and fight the guys, and then
we can finally confront them.
And then you create the.
Well, okay, hang on, because you're missing like a small thing, because you do that, but then you also have to go with what is it, Speary? Is it Speary in this game?
Kiri.
Okay, you go with him to like this other island um to talk about like the war of old.
Yeah.
And like once you do that, you have to talk to like the elder fucking grandpa spirit guy. I don't
Yeah, the
even
old master.
yeah, like the old master. And yeah, like you talk to him and he's like, "Oh, back when you were like back then whenever it was the cat dog war, you forged the King's Blade to defeat the external threat, but then it divided both countries against each other.
Yeah,
And
because it
then
was too powerful or something.
yeah, because only one person could wield it, like you said earlier, like blah 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 blah, and it tells you all this stuff basically. And then like you realize like, oh, we can wield this power together, yada yada.
Yeah.
You don't have to like divide yourself with the strength whenever you get the actual sword.
Hmm.
And then after that, I believe that the um two people who had previously been working together, which is the Wolfen and Lioner, they're like currently plotting to attack each other
Yeah.
to plunge into another war. And so like
Well, it's more of like he wants to conquer the other kingdom. He's gonna
yeah, well, I
conquer
mean
the other kingdom.
it's essentially
They
another
want
war.
to be one king. Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially another war.
And so I think it's an important thing to bring up because it's like it's supposed to be the final incident to that you're invested in because you don't want like constantly throughout the game if you talk to like
Like all the
townsfolk,
townspeople, yeah,
yeah, they're always like,
are like overtaxed and
yeah, like the kings are
because
dicks.
yeah, they're not cool.
So
So yeah,
you're like personally invested in making sure that that doesn't happen.
yeah.
um so yeah, continue.
So then I believe it's like you fight one of them, and then you defeat him. Oh, I think eventually you find out that like these two kings
Oh,
are
that doesn't
you,
happen till later, like at the
doesn't
very
it?
end.
I thought it was like mid end. I
No,
don't know.
it's
Either
pretty
way,
close to the
it's
end.
like you find out that those two kings are you and your dog boy.
Yeah. Like,
Like
well, yeah, they're like literally you.
it's literally you guys. And you're like, oh, what? And Kiri's like, oh yeah, I kind of brought you from a different timeline to fight these guys
Yeah.
because they got corrupted by Alias. And you're like, uh, okay. And you just keep going.
Yeah. Pretty much it's like, oh, this doesn't change anything. Okay, so
I mean,
I'm
all
I'm
right, but
gonna
okay.
I'm gonna stop at this point because like this is where the story lost me completely. This is where the story I went like literally as this was happening, if I had been recording voice, it would have just been me going, "No! No! No! Why? It like this is the this is the number one thing in storytelling. Well, okay, maybe not number one
Not
thing,
number
but
one. I'd
like
say number two.
number 3 thing
I know
in
you don't like
storytelling that you
when
should
it's
not ever do.
I know it's the you don't like
Oh,
the oh, it was all a dream kind of thing.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
you don't
like
like that. That's your number one.
but it's like aha, the bad guy was really you all along. It's like, oh, go fuck yourself. Like, first of all, like, oh god,
Yeah.
why? It's so stupid. It's so dumb. I don't it
It
was
was
just
I don't know, it didn't really make a difference to me. It was kind of just like, "Oh, okay, well, I mean, fuck them, I guess."
well, but the thing is like like obviously yeah, but the fact that they bring in like multiverses is where it just like it becomes everything becomes pointless, right?
Yeah,
Like you
kind of.
zoom out too far, which is what multiverses do because you're like, aha,
Because
because it's a multiverse, anything can happen.
there's an infinite distance you can zoom out.
Yeah, that literally means that nothing you do matters because you're just a speck, right?
Yeah, I suppose, but it's like something. I think he even mentions like, "Oh, this is the one universe where it's like what I tried to do worked, and you gained all the power, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, this is the one universe where it worked. It's like,
Like,
okay, well,
okay,
great. I'm still
sure,
gonna kick
but
your ass.
I just like
'Cause
it's
that happens too. Like after you find this out, you confront the two yourselves, the Wolfen and Lioner. You
mhm.
kill them, they die. Their boss fights are a little difficult. I
They
died a few times,
actually
but
die though, like which is like whoa,
they
okay,
they do.
wild.
They perish. Um, and then like after that, you fight Alias himself. He's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, you guys are the ones. You're the ones who can gain all this power. You're the ones who could finally rival my own power." And he's like, "Join me. We can do whatever." I forget what he says, and we can be all this power. And you're like, "Nah."
no, why?
Your two
Why?
characters are literally like, "Nah." And Alias is like, "Okay, well, I'll take this power for myself then." And he tries to attack you, and then you just kick his ass.
Yeah, basically.
Um,
Ugh.
which that fight was a little interesting because it's like you didn't have a problem with the hands. I did. I just avoided the hands and fought the eyeball. Although
Yeah,
the arcane like orbs that he shot out with his eyeball like basically two shot me every time. So it was
yeah,
like I
pretty
had to be
annoying.
really careful to dodge them
I
and then
think
go up and
my mage died twice, and I had to res him throughout the whole thing.
yeah. As I said earlier, that was the main mechanic I used through the whole fight. I did that fight first time, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't I didn't game over once
I didn't
on
game
that fight.
over
I
at
game overed
all.
on the Wolfen and Lioner fight several times, unfortunately, which
Well,
sucked
I
because
think you were under me in levels, so
I'd
it's
have to sit through the cutscenes
multiple
every
times.
time,
Ugh.
and they were long.
Yeah,
Oh
I
well.
think I was just like constantly 5 levels behind, but it seems like you were constantly 10 levels behind. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
the
didn't do
difference
very
there
many
was
side quests. I
because
mean,
I
I did
didn't
a
really
few, like
either.
I said, but I
I
don't
did
know.
a couple of a few dungeons, so that might have been it.
It might have been. Yeah, I didn't do many of those.
But I only did I started doing a bunch of dungeons in the like dog place because
Mhm.
after I realized that you could level up like whatever gear you wanted, I was like, oh, I need to go find some gear that I like, and
Yeah,
so I just
that
went and did that
go do
basically.
that, or like go do those dungeons for money.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I know
sure,
there
yeah,
was a
you
lot
can
of
do that. You
money,
could do
but
the
um,
experiences there, whatever.
anyway, then you
Um,
fight Alias, and then it's like that's the end of the game, and then Carrie's like, "Oh, we gotta send you back to your timeline, or else, uh, bad things, because that's how timelines
yeah,
work."
right, yeah, which
And you're just like,
okay,
"All right."
yeah,
And he's like, "You won't remember any of this," and it's like, well, then what was the whole
yeah.
fucking
What the
point?
fuck do you mean? What? Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the point where I lost the thing. It was like, yeah, I was okay with the different timelines, but it's like if I don't remember when I go back to whatever timeline, it's like,
Yeah, like the
all
whole
right,
point.
that's not cool.
the whole
I don't like
point.
losing my memory of what I did.
The whole point is that you
Like
are
you were
playing.
learning to work together with a dog, etc. We're best friends,
Yeah,
trying to unite the two empires together, etc. And it's just like, oh yeah, you don't remember any
but
of
you
that.
don't remember anything.
Bye.
Good luck. It's like, what do you mean? What's the point of the game then? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
And then you get a little cutscene after. It's like, oh, they've crafted two of the three ancient artifacts, and it's like, all right, well,
Well, so
Pack
I didn't
S3
have
is
a
gonna be
problem with
cool.
that.
No, that's just like, you know,
Because like it actually, I feel like it actually like I don't know. I feel like that was the only redeeming part of the like second game story was like it tried to pull something and make the first game worth it. And then
yeah,
also everything that you did in the second game was supposed to mean something for what happens in the third game.
for like
Which
that. I guess it wouldn't matter for that kingdom whether or not those heroes were from that timeline or not.
right.
So it was like it's all about the kingdom and not the characters.
I guess, but I just it
I
doesn't.
don't know, because it's like the stuff in the first game where it's like, uh, your character who's the dragon blood, um, which in the second game you're King's Blood.
Yeah.
You're the Dragon Blood, and it was like the whole reason you originally went after Dracoth was because he captured your sister, and it's like
Right.
turns out that that never happened. That was all an illusion the whole time.
The whole time.
And it was like, okay, so then why does it matter what I'm doing? And turns out all you were trying to do, all he wanted you to do was make the king, what is it, Dragon's sword, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, so this is gonna mean something later.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully the third game brings light to all this. Which is why these games were like basically a direct sequel to the. So it was like kind of interesting that this is how they did it. It was like
it could be two games that play really nice that have like this very minor story that sets up for the third game, and then the story on the third game pays off really nicely and it plays really well, and like you just go in all happy and then you come out even happier because everything pays off. But like, man,
God, if they don't deliver, I'm gonna be real upset.
Man, like they're not inspiring a whole lot of confidence with their like, oh, like your memory gets erased and nothing really matters. Ha ha ha.
But I would assume you're a different character in the third game because you're like a pirate or something.
Yeah, it is true. You are. I did look at it briefly.
It's like you're like a pirate cat or something. I don't know. Either way, it's if they don't deliver in the third game, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Yeah, I agree. Agree.
It actually turns out at the end of the third game, the whole 3 games were a dream.
Oh man. Whew,
You wake up and you're just a cat laying on your next to your human.
Dude, you know what? That would be fine. I wouldn't even mind that.
Man.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like that would be a completely acceptable ending to this. I think that seriously, hear me out, because that's what I was expecting to happen in the first game. Remember?
Yeah. Okay, fair.
And I was like,
that's what
this
the
is
old
all
masters were. They were humans.
Yeah, that's what I was like. This is all like a house cat's dream of what their life is, right? Like that's what a great thing to end on. Like this is the only conceivable like it was a dream the whole time ending that actually is fine to me, because like this is exactly what I would expect to happen in a cat's head.
Otherwise, that kind of thing is not a good story sequence.
Ugh.
See previous game. I forget which one. I'm pretty sure we have a video on one of them that did that. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, which game was that? Was it Industria? No, Industria just didn't have a story.
It was a like way earlier one. I don't remember.
No, not that. Not that. Was it Close to the Sun?
No. It wasn't that one. I don't think so.
Oh, it was Vanishing of Ethan Carter.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where everything was just like, haha, just kidding. It's like, oh, you're not real.
Yeah. This was a whole thing.
Thanks.
The child wakes up, the building burned, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay, thanks.
I think that's it for the story for Cat Quest 2. I think there was an epilogue where it was something happens, but I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I think the epilogue was you returning to your timeline. I think that's
that's because it's like whenever you do the epilogue, or whenever you go back to your timeline, that's the end of the game. It's like, all right, bye. Yeah, man, I really want to give this game like a worse rating. Because I believe that we gave Cat Quest 1 like a 7.
7, yeah. I gave it a 7. I thought you gave it something a little worse.
It was either you gave it 1 more than me. I might have given it a 6 and you gave it a 7.
Yeah.
I will, if that's the case, I will upgrade it to a 7. But I really want to give it a worse score for its story.
I don't know. I thought the story was like okay. I know it's like whenever you do the multiverse thing, it's just like okay, yeah. that's kind of a cop out, but
Well, yeah, it just kind of guts itself, and it makes me unhappy. I don't know, man.
but like it it kind of it worked a little,
Well,
just a little.
it it's not that it works; it's that it can work.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if they don't fuck it up in the next game, this could be fine, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like,
Um.
I'm fine giving it a 7, but I want to give it lower because they crossed me. Um,
Yeah.
but
Um. Anyway, I'm gonna give it an 8 because the gameplay was improved, the graphics were improved a little bit. Music wasn't, as we mentioned,
yeah,
the whole
whatever,
extra
dude.
2 tracks, which I don't even know which ones were new. Um. But yeah, like it was a better game. The gear was better. The gear like upgrading was better.
Yeah, pretty much everything about it was improved gameplay wise.
Yeah. So it was a better game in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I'm
8 out
not
of 10.
I'm not dissatisfied with that. Um,
Plus it was fun.
yeah, that is what I was gonna say. Is like,
It was just fun to play.
yeah, there is something to be said about like how fun a game is, even if the story sucks.
Yeah.
And this game was definitely fun. It like the first game, very quaint game, very
Mhm.
fun, interesting time. And I don't have any problem like recommending this game, even if the story is a
No,
little trashy.
it's
So
fine. Just don't look at that.
yeah, just don't pay attention to the game, the story very much. But yeah, anyway, do we have anything else?
Not for me.
Not from you. All right, I don't really
Our
have anything else either.
Nope.
Our next title is going to be a game called A Short Hike.
Nope.
No.
Our next game is Never Yield.
Our next game is Never Yield. The game after that is going to be A Short Hike. We definitely have these planned out, I promise.
Yes.
Um, yeah. Sorry, things have been quite busy. We're all
Yeah.
in a big stew right now, but
It's fine.
yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah,
Anyway,
next game is going to
Never
be
Yield,
Never Yield.
which is like a runner game,
Yeah, it's gonna be an
which is
interesting time. So, all
pretty
right,
good.
thank you so much for listening.
Yep.
Have a good
Thank you.
night, a good day, good time, everybody.
Yep.
See you later. Bye.
Bye bye.